don't celebrate New Year's Day because it's not really the beginning of the new year. The new year actually starts in March or April, which we refer to as spring. And this is when everything is coming back to life after going through winter. And this mostly applies to European countries or cold countries such as Canada and America and other parts of the world that experience very harsh cold weather. So where did this belief that New Year's Day is on the 1st of January come from? Well, it's all to do with the Gregorian calendar, which is actually a Roman Catholic calendar. Because when we say Gregorian calendar, we're actually referring to Pope Gregory. He's the one that came up with this calendar that we're using at the moment, and maybe he had some help from some astrologers or whatever, some Roman Catholic doctors that helped him to come up with that. I don't believe personally that Pope Gregory sat down and came up with this calendar on his own. He obviously had some help. So, so which calendar is accurate? I would say God's calendar is accurate, and we read about God's calendar in the Old Testament, especially when God is explaining, or God is giving the Israelites a calendar after they left Egypt, and it says that the month Abib, or the month called Abib, would be the first month of the year. And in fact, in God's calendar, there were 30 days in each month, not like we have in accurate Gregorian calendar, where some months have 30 days and some months have 31 days. And in February, sometimes we have 29 days or 28 days. That's inaccurate. That's the whole reason. And sometimes we have a leap year and all this stuff. God's calendar had 30 days in each month. So the month Abib, which I mentioned as being the first month in the Jewish calendar or in the Hebrew calendar, was actually fell in March or April. It was around March or April, not January. So something else as well that's very interesting, which I only discovered as an adult. None of this is taught in school because school is not meant to give you knowledge or enlightenment and wisdom. It's actually school is about getting you to conform to an agenda that's already been prepared, a pre-planned agenda, if I can put it that way, and also getting you to be an authority worshipper. Like, for instance, what happened in this pandemic, that 80% of the world obeyed their TV and obeyed authority figures, such as politicians, presidents, prime ministers, their pastors and their doctors, and anyone who was seen to be in a position of authority. So I was about to mention something very interesting that I only learned or discovered as an adult, and it's the fact that even the months in the Gregorian calendar, the months that we have are actually messed up as well, especially in the latter part of the year. So we have September. Sept actually means 7, but September is the 9th month. So we have I always remember that August is the 8th month, July being the 7th month. I was actually born in July. So you have July, which is the 7th month, August is the 8th month, and then September is the 9th month. But sept in September actually means 7. And then when you go to October, that's where you get octagon from, I believe. October is the 10th month, but oct means 8. And then when you get to December, the word December is basically, the root word for December is deca, which is 10. But December is the 12th month. So even that is messed up. So maybe for those watching, you should be asking yourself, why are the months of the year, some of them anyway, all messed up like that? They are referring to certain numbers that they don't correspond with. I'll just repeat that again. September is supposed to be 7, but it's the 9th month, and then October is supposed to be the 8th month, but it's the 10th month, and December is supposed to be to refer to 10, but it's actually not the 10th month, it's the 12th month. And then obviously we have July, which I mentioned earlier, which is the month I was born in. Is named after Julius Caesar, and then August is named after Augustus Caesar. So why do I not make a big fuss about celebrating New Year's? Because for me, it's all messed up. It's not really the new year anyway. And I have mentioned before in some of my other videos that everything is inverted. So we are not using God's accurate Hebrew calendar. We're using this inaccurate Gregorian calendar, and I know that part of the reason why the just something else as well before I move on to what I want to say. There was another corrupt calendar that was used before that, and it was the calendar that was designed by Julius Caesar, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. There was another Roman, a prominent Roman individual who came up with another calendar before the world moved on to the Gregorian calendar. So I also wanted to mention that there are other calendars that have been used in the past, and calendars that are still being used other than the Gregorian calendar. So we have the Chinese; they have their own calendar, but I believe they also align themselves with the Gregorian calendar so they can keep a pace with the calendar that's being used by the rest of the world. And then the Orthodox Christians as well have their own calendar. That's why you'll find that they celebrate Christmas and New Year's on at different times of the year. So yeah, so something else as well quite important is not only is New Year's Day or New Year's celebrated at the wrong time, but even what they say is the very beginning of New Year, which is they say it's midnight on the 1st of January of each year. They say that's when the New Year starts. But actually, if you in God's word, we find that a day doesn't start at midnight; it starts at sunset. Everything is inverted and messed up. So we have the whole Sunday's Sabbath issue. We know that Sabbath is the Lord's day. Okay, the day that God has chosen to be worshipped on, not Sunday. Sunday is to do with sun worship. That's why it's called Sunday, or the day of the sun. But let's just go back to the issue of when the day starts. It says in the Old Testament from even to even, meaning from evening to evening, shall you keep the Sabbath. So the Sabbath is kept from Friday at sunset till Saturday, what we call Saturday at sunset. That's a day. Okay, day begins at sunset and ends at sunset. Why? Because God wants us to see the day coming to an end, and He wants us to see a new day starting. He doesn't God never designed that the day should start when we are asleep in bed. Most of us anyway. But in the Gregorian calendar, we find that the day begins at midnight when most of us are asleep, other than those who are working or those who are on their computers, some of them playing their video games. But you're supposed to be asleep at midnight, because that's a whole separate issue about going to bed in good time. They say if you go to bed before 10 o'clock p.m., you get much better sleep rather than if you go to bed closer to midnight or after midnight. Even if you go to bed at midnight or after midnight, and then you get 8 hours sleep, you won't feel as refreshed when you wake up. But like I said, that's another issue anyway. So these are the reasons why I don't celebrate New Year's Day. Also, don't forget that in Romans chapter 12, it says we should not be conformed to the world. So if the whole world is conforming to this Gregorian calendar, and I've said this many times, that when you see the majority going right, you should go left, because it means that whatever it is that's being followed is error, is erroneous. Whether and this principle can be applied to many other things, whether it be the scamdemic or BLM, which I referred to in one of my previous videos as build large mansions. It's actually buy large mansions that the founders of BLM actually stole a lot of money, and they went. I think one of them is called Patrice. I think. I can't remember. I can't remember her name. One of the founders, one of the three founders of BLM. She stole money and went and bought mansions there in the United States. Patrice Cullors, maybe I think her name is. I can't remember. Please don't quote me. She's one of the founders. She went and bought mansions that I've just said. Right, I don't want to keep repeating myself. So whether it be those two things, this pandemic, BLM, climate change, and anything else that's coming on the world. I mean, even wars. You find regular people when war kicks off. Especially most of the time it's involving the US, because the US is fighting wars on behalf of the papacy, invading countries and destabilizing and kicking out the governments that are not playing along with the program to bring about a new world order. For instance, now they're talking about the US going to war with Iran, which we know has always has been planned for a very long time, ever since 9/11. It's been planned that one of the countries that's supposed to be invaded by the US is Iran. But the point I'm trying to make is you always find, especially the majority, will support these kind of things. So when you see the majority doing something, don't go along with the majority, because remember it says we should not be conformed to the world. Romans chapter 12 verses 1 and 2. So yeah, those are my reasons for not celebrating New Year's Day. I'm not a conformer, okay? I'm trying to be a reformer, not a conformer. I want to be Christ-like. I'm not trying to be like the rest of the world. The rest of the world are behaving like sheep, to go along with whatever program is, brought before them by the powers that shouldn't be. So, yeah. I might have left out some things there quite important. Maybe that should have been should have mentioned, but I'm doing this from without a script. So if I've left anything out that you think is important, that's why I haven't written anything down. I just wanted to go by memory from what I've learned and what I've read and studied. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to share. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you on the next one.